Welcome back to another episode, Obiter Dicta. It's Thursday morning. Brian's still not feeling well. April's still recovering. One of these days, we'll have the trio back together. Maybe even have a fourth person as a special guest. This morning, though, have you ever heard the statement, where has Jesus ever said that he is God? The best that we have in all four Gospels, some might say, and let's put John aside because John's pretty much on the nose. It's very clear that Jesus is divine in the Gospel of John, but a lot of people will say, hey, that's the last Gospel, and that's the accretion one. Nobody actually believed that Jesus was God, especially Jesus himself, because he never says it. That's what people will argue. He never says it in the three synoptics. At best, he's cagey. He avoids the question. So I want to press that question. Is it true? Is it actually true that Jesus never clearly, emphatically just says it? Is there ever a point in the synoptic gospels where Jesus is sat down in front of maybe a high priest or some Pharisees or Sadducees, and they ask him point blank, are you the Son of God? Are you the Messiah? Are you divine? Well, let's see. Does that ever happen? You might guess that actually has happened. And I want to go to Matthew 26 because this is where we have a recording of that very event. So the event we're going to look at is Matthew 26. And just to set the scene for you, Jesus is actually sitting down with the high priest, the Pharisees. He's been betrayed. He's been given over to the Jews, and they're questioning him. This is the fake trial. This is them trying to entrap Jesus so they can have some kind of reason to put him to death, at least give a good reason to report to Pilate so that the Romans put him to death. So he's being questioned. They want to trap him in blasphemy. They want to trip him up. And so they have called false witnesses to accuse Christ, and they're trying to find every reason to unleash their sinful wrath upon the Son of God. So you have these false witnesses coming. We're going to start in verse 60. I got 62 highlighted here, but let's go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit to verse 61. So here, one of the false witnesses is accusing Jesus of saying, dunamai katalusai, that Jesus has the power, that he says he has the power to loose against or divorce, destroy, tan naan, the temple, to Theou of God, and in trion, 3 days, dia 3 days, through 3 days, hemeron, there's a trion is 3, hemeron is days, oiko de mesai, to build. Jesus, this is the false witness saying Jesus said that he has the power to destroy this temple. He's talking about the temple in Jerusalem, the temple that Herod has built. It took 40 years. And Jesus not only said that he can destroy the temple, that he can raise it. Dia, trion, hemeron, oiko, de mesai. Build it in 3 days to build it. And so the high priest hears that accusation. And how does he respond? He responds this way. And, or kai, anastas ha archereus, the high priest, archereus, stood. So he heard the accusation, and you see the scene. The high priest stands and says, apen auto, to him, to Jesus. The high priest says, apokrine, do you answer? Have you answered? What answer? Do you answer nothing? Oiden, do you answer nothing? What this kata mar to racin, what they testify against you. Kata mar to racin is just it's a kata plus the word for testify, and a kata combined with that is to testify against. So do you answer nothing of this that they testify against? Who? You, Su. That they testify against you. Do you have nothing to say about this, Jesus? What do you have to say about this accusation about the temple? What does Jesus do? Hade Jesus, but Jesus, Hesiopa, says nothing. Keeps quiet, remains quiet. And Ha Archereus, and the high priest says to him, so Jesus doesn't say anything. Execrizo se kata tu theu tu zontes. He's going to say, he's got Jesus. He's got him sat down. He's not about to let Jesus get away again. He's going to get him this time, and he's going to bind him. This exorizo is I'm going to bind you by an oath. So this is the high priest saying, I bind who? You. Say, I bind you. Kata to theu, against. When you have a kata and a what they call a genitive, which is just a possessive of a noun, to theu, this is an against. I bind you by an oath. I bind you, Jesus, by an oath of God, against God, of not just God, but to Zotos, the living God. I bind you, Jesus, by an oath against the living God, in order, chena, chemen, apis, so that you might say, this is a subjunctive, that you might say to us. This isn't a might. When you have a henna and a, what do they call a subjunctive verb, it is acting as an imperative. The high priest is commanding Jesus, so that I am binding you by oath before the living God, against the living God, so that you might finally say to us what? Esu, e ha Christos, ha vias to theu. If you are, here's the copula verb, if you are ha Christos, the Christ, the Son of God. Now, this is very important that he's using ha Christos, ha vias to theu. He's not saying Son of Man yet. He's not saying ha vias anthropou. He's saying ha vias to theu. Are you? I'm putting you under oath now. You must tell me. What does Jesus do? Does he stay silent? Does Jesus isiopa? Does he stay silent? No. Ha Jesus. Jesus lege auto. Jesus says to him, says to the high priest. And here it is. Su epas. You said. This is it. You said. Right here. You said. Now, this is where people are going to say, look, Jesus is not answering the question. He's avoiding it. The high priest has asked. He's put Jesus under oath. And this isn't an oath that can be taken lightly. This is the high priest putting somebody under an oath. They are expected under the wrath of God to answer truthfully. So for Jesus to come and say, and to be cagey and to avoid the question, this is not what's happening. This is very important to understand right here. Because Matthew and this conversation, although Matthew's written in Greek, this conversation was probably happening in Hebrew or Aramaic or probably Hebrew. And in Hebrew, different than English or Greek, there is no word for yes. There's no yes. In Greek, the yes is nai. There is no yes in Hebrew. The way you agree to something or an opinion or a statement is you repeat it back to somebody. So, for example, in Hebrew, if I were to ask somebody, did you see the horse trot by? I would say, I did, or I saw the horse trot by. You would repeat the statement that somebody asked you as a positive. Yeah, that would be the equivalent in English or Greek of saying yes. So when Jesus here, when he says su epas, which is, epas is the second singular aorist active indicative. It is you said. In English, it's kind of weird to translate. It'd be like you said it. You said it. Like my kid would say that. You said it. And it doesn't really make sense in English, so we translate it as like you have said. Some might even say like you said it. But a lot of people take that as Jesus saying, well, you said that, not me. I didn't say it. You said it. That is not what is happening here. That doesn't make any sense with the oath that the high priest has put him under. This is the key here. This oath, Jesus is going to answer truthfully. And his answer in the Hebrew way, because Jesus is a Jew, he is Israel, right? I mean, that's reducing Jesus, but he is saying in the Hebrew way, yes, su apos. But he doesn't stop there. He doesn't just stop with yes. He's going to really expand this out. And this is where another place where people get tripped up. You have the plain here. So you have the su apos, you said it. I'm going to coin that. And you have the plain lego humen. This is translated a lot of times as but. And but is sometimes like a negation. Usually, if I say something, I like cars, but I don't like cars with wheels. Well, that's kind of like, well, you've negated that you don't really like cars because all cars have wheels. So not only does Jesus somehow looking like he's avoiding the question, but now he's going to clarify it. Well, no, you said it, but here's what I really meant. I meant something different. Jesus is actually, the but here is not negating. This plain is a warning. This is a warning. He's saying, not only have I said yes, but this is a warning to you. Plain lego human, but I say to you, warning, op arti, from now, ophesthe, you will see. This is the future of you will see. Ophesthe ton weon. You will see the Son, and now he switches it to Anthropu, the Son of Man, showing this is the heir of David. This is the eternal King. You're not only going to see the Son of God, who I am, who have already said, you said it. Yep, absolutely. But not only that, here's the warning to you, because I'm the King. You will see the Son of Man. Kath amenon, sitting. This is the participle, sitting, ek dexion. The right hand, sitting in the right hand or from the right hand, tes dumaneos, the right hand of power. And ekomenon, here's the participle of coming, and coming upon ton nephalon to oranu. You will see the Son of Man at the right hand of power and coming upon the clouds of heaven. That's deified language. That is only language of the gods. If you understand Near Eastern terminology and what Christ is saying about himself, and he's quoting Daniel, and the Jews know this. The Jews know that he's quoting Daniel right here. This is God coming down. So Jesus not only says, yeah, I am the Son of God. You said it, but here's my warning to you. Along with that, what you're about to do, here's my warning to you. It's almost like Jesus is trying to give him a way out here. But warning, I say to you, from now, you're going to see the Son of Man, the King of Israel, who's king over you, who Pilate will agree with in some kind of, I don't know, twisted way, and even write the King of the Jews on the cross, and the Jews don't even like that. And Pilate says, look, I wrote what I wrote. But you're going to see the Son of Man sitting, the right hand of power, and coming upon the clouds of heaven. This is the fully God, fully man representative before God, who is about to be sacrificed to purify those he's died for. And all that come to Christ, Christ purifies. And the Jews definitely saw him sitting on the right hand. He rose from the dead. And Jesus is warning them right here. That's what the plain, not plain is like plain language, but this word right here. Where is it? This plain right here. Plain, more likely. Lego human. This is a warning, not a but, not a like, you said it, but here's what I really mean. I'm just the Son of Man. No, he's adding to it. I'm not just the Son of God, but I'm also your King. And they're about to crucify their King. But the glorious part is later in Acts, Peter's going to come and say, you crucified the Son of God, the Messiah. And the Jews are going to say, what then shall we do? Peter's going to say, repent. Christ even forgives those who's crucified him. Christ would even forgive this high priest that is questioning him and trying to trap him. And then how does the high priest respond? And this is where most people go, because the respond isn't like, oh, I guess we just misunderstood you, Jesus. We're sorry. No. Ha archereus, the high priest, tore ta hamartia, his clothing, saying, e blasphemisen, blasphemy. He rends his clothing. He tears it. Blasphemy. You don't tear your clothing over a misunderstanding, and you don't use the third person singular aorist verb tense here for blasphemy in the perfect tense. Jesus, all what he's saying is everything that Jesus just said and that high priest mind is blasphemy. And he's going to say, what more? What still more do we have? You've heard it yourselves, the blasphemy. And they're going to use that against Christ, and they're going to take him to the cross with it. But this is so, and this is the beauty of the original language, where you can really pull this out, because in the English it's not as clear. It is, you have said it. Maybe you did, maybe I did, maybe I did, maybe you just understood it. But let me clarify you. Don't hurt me. Don't go through with this because you just misunderstood me. He doubles down. He doubles down hard, and he says yes, and the very way every Hebrew speaker would say yes, and how the Hebrew writings, and you see this all over in the Old Testament in the Hebrew. This is how they say yes. This is why the Hebrew repeats everything. There's so many repetitions, because it is an agreement. The repetitions are agreeing. And this you said it. You said it is Jesus absolutely saying hard yes. And not only that, but woe to you, warning. I'm also the Son of Man, and I will be worshipped. And you will see me. You will see Christ, the right hand of power, coming on the clouds of heaven. I hope this helped. I hope this was helpful. I thought it was really cool just going through Matthew, and I wanted to pull this out. Don't let anyone ever say, and it's usually Matthew that they're going to say it with, Jesus never actually said it. He's not very clear. And we can't trust John, because John's just an ideologue who wants to deify Jesus, but Jesus never believed that about himself. Absolute folly and untruths. And this is the beauty of language and grammar. It's right there, and it's so clear, and it's so glorious. Thanks for watching. Peace.